Okay, so I am having roasted chicken today, so I thought potatoes go perfect with a nicely roasted chicken. So here I have 4 russet potatoes. Be sure to wash, scrub, and dry them very well. And I am just going to slice them into rounds. This is what makes, I guess, a cottage fry is what they call it. Growing up, we just thought they were papas. I don't know. So I'm going to cut these into not super thin, but thin rounds because I want to make sure that they roast and cook. I am not going to be parboiling these. I find it just convenient when I'm roasting chicken just to slice some potatoes and roast it right alongside the chicken. So that's what I'm going to do. By the way, I included this exact same video in my roasted chicken video as a full meal. So if you want to see how I roasted the chicken that I will be serving these potatoes alongside, I will leave the link in the description and at the end of this video that you can click on and see how I did that. Okay, so again, I'm just going to continue slicing these potatoes. They were sort of going bad or starting to go bad, so some of them I had to clean up. And I know there are tons of ways to roast potatoes. But this is what I find convenient when my oven is occupied with a roasting chicken. Definitely, if you are not roasting a chicken in your oven and you want these potatoes, you probably could cook them at a higher temp and parboil them, zhuzh them, give them more texture. But again, this is just a convenient way I do things when I have a lot of things cooking on my stove. Okay, they are cut into thin rounds. So now all I'm going to do is put a couple tablespoons of olive oil. Again, I will be roasting these at a temperature of 375 degrees Fahrenheit, so olive oil is okay to use. Now, if you are going to roast these at a higher temperature, then you want to go with a higher smoke point oil. I use avocado oil, a canola vegetable, just an oil with the higher smoke point. So again, I am now going to add several tablespoons of olive oil. Okay, so I'm done adding my oil, and it's roughly around 2-3 tablespoons of olive oil. Again, I'll leave it up to you. So now I'm going to season it. And again, I'm just going to eyeball my seasonings, and you can use salt and pepper. You can use the seasonings and spices of your choice. I'm seasoning this first with some salt-free lemon pepper. And for those of you that like to know the brands of ingredients I use, this one is Fiesta brand. I'm also going to be adding some dill. This is dried dill, and some salt to taste. Again, the seasonings and spices and amounts are up to you and your taste. Okay, so once everything is seasoned, I'm going to mix them up. And actually, as I mix these up, I laid them in a single layer, and I realized, you know what? I want some garlic powder too. So I eyeballed some garlic powder. Again, just another option of seasonings and spices. So I'm just going to sprinkle the garlic powder on the top. I'm not going to mix it up again. And again, you want to lay your potatoes flat in a single layer, and it probably helps to get them a crispier texture if there's room in between them. But, I just kind of cut the potatoes that I had. It is kind of crowded, but just keep that in mind. For a crunchier potato, give it some room. Don't overcrowd the pan, but this is what I'm working with today. Now, I have some leftover butter that I just want to use. This is some unsalted butter. It's around 2.5 tablespoons. I'm just going to cut this up in small dollops and just put them in different places on the pan. So again, to go over the fats that I'm using olive oil and butter. So as I mentioned earlier, I am roasting these potatoes alongside a roasting chicken that I have in my oven, and I find this method of roasting potatoes, it just is easy when my oven is occupied with a roasting chicken. So again, like I mentioned earlier, you could roast these at a higher temp, but my oven is set to 375 degrees, so that's what I'm going to be roasting them in that temperature. And I think it does the job, even without parboiling. So I'm ready to place this in the oven. And again, I'm baking this in a preheated oven of 375 degrees Fahrenheit for around 45 minutes. I will be flipping them over halfway through. I know it might seem tedious, but here's my packed oven with my chicken and the potatoes. And again, I will leave the link to that roasting chicken in the description below if you want to check out that video. So it's been 25 minutes. My potatoes are roasting along nicely. I'm going to flip them over one by one. I know it might sound tedious, but it took me less than 2 minutes to do this. No biggie. I just want to make sure that the potatoes do turn out golden brown, and most of them will be crispy. And as you can tell, some of those are darker than others. That's probably because those are places that the butter was sitting. So back into the oven for an additional 20 minutes. Okay, so my potatoes are done, and here they are. They are beautifully golden brown, and the pan was kind of crowded, and I didn't cut them all the same width, but you know, that's the beauty of an inconsistent potato. Some of them are tender, some of them are golden brown, and some of them are crunchy. Either way, they are delicious, and they go perfect with roasted chicken. And when I do plate these up, I like to put them on a platter and just, you know, stack them just like this. And I might add some dried parsley, you know, just to give it some color. It's not necessary. When the potatoes are like this, it's so hard to keep everyone from trying to grab a bite.
Excellent. I'm gonna one more.
Okay, so here's a close-up look at my delicious golden brown cottage fries. And I will be serving this alongside my roasted chicken. Here it is. We are so ready to eat dinner. Please be sure to look for the link to my roasted chicken video. It is a video of a full meal that I prepared, this meal in particular. So I hope you give this recipe a try. I hope you like it, and thanks for watching.